Today on episode 15 of Breakaway Rail Talk, I talked to New York Thoroughbred Horsemen's Association President Tina Bond about the importance of marketing horse racing and her new initiative to do so, the Heart of Horse Racing. Can't wait to get into it. As always, Breakaway Rail Talk is sponsored by our friends at Arion Pedigrees. Go check them out at arion.co.nz for all your pedigree needs. There's 4-dam pedigrees, past performances, crosses, sire leaders, freshman sire leaders, everything you would need to make a decision about breeding, make decisions about handicapping with the Derby coming up. It's an extensive, invaluable database full of pedigrees and great info for the industry. Go check them out. Now let's get into our conversation with Tina. So I'm so thrilled to bring this next guest to the Rail Talk studio. She is the president of the New York Thoroughbred Horsemen's Association and the president of the National Thoroughbred Horsemen's Association. Tina Bond, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
We're so glad to have you. We're here to talk mainly about the Heart of Horse Racing initiative that you started up. And this is so sorely needed in this business. We talk a lot on this show about the lack of marketing capabilities of the racing industry, and basically our lack of ability to sustain future generations of racing fans and build future generations of racing fans. Firstly, how did this come about? Who is behind it besides you? And what are some of the early returns that you're seeing from it?
So this all started about 10, 11 years ago when Rick Violet asked me to consider running for the board of NYTHA, which I did. And the first meeting, I brought 5 ideas. I didn't even get a chance to talk about any of them. But this was one of the major ideas, was to have a PR marketing campaign for horse racing. As I felt even back then, the exposure wasn't there to what we needed it to be. So hence, when I became president, I thought, maybe this is the opportunity to really get something done. And I brought it to our board of directors, to NYTHA, and they agreed. And NYTHA has given the seed money to start this project. We interviewed, I think it was 8 or 9 PR marketing firms, and went through all their RFP process and ended up with Finn Partners out of New York City. They are a global company, and I believe they're the right choice, that's for sure. We hired them in June. They said they needed a 3-month window to get their arms around what the industry was and what it needed, because they are not within the industry, which I thought was important, because I think we need outside perspectives to bring more outside people in. So they said we need 3 months. I said, no, we have to get a film crew here and we have to film in Saratoga. So we did that in July. We spent 2 days with 1 crew. And then they came back Whitney weekend with 2 film crews and spent 2 days. So the initiative is called the Heart of Horse Racing. None of us could come up with something that was better than that. Because, and through all these interviews that we went through, the general feeling from all of these people was that the horses are everything. They mean everything to us. And so the name kind of stuck.
Yeah. No, and it's a great website, and you were on the NYTHA webinar fairly recently giving a presentation about it that I thought was really great and really informative. One of the things that I always found about this industry is that though we are small in number, we are mighty. There are so many people who are so passionate about this industry. I think it's a great point that you make about having some outside people come in to tell us what we're doing right or doing wrong. But then also, how do you harness the people who are in this industry who have such passion and have such strong ideas? How do you tell those stories for this initiative?
Yeah, I think that's what this is all about, is the storytelling. And that you have to reach them and everybody's colorful in this industry, right? We all come from other backgrounds and different lives, but seems to be all of our passion. And those stories are what has to be told, because, the horses are everything. They're wonderful. But by the time the outside new fans relate to those horses, they're probably off to retirement to stud or becoming a broodmare. So, we started with the jockeys and the trainers and the owners, and there's a lot of great stories and a lot of colorful people that I think new fans will attach themselves to and find that the industry is very interesting, and that it is approachable, and that it's it's an easy industry to at least enjoy, to come and enjoy the races, but to become a part of it.
Yeah, and that's key. Like it's great to get people at the track at Saratoga to have a couple of drinks and watch some horses run. The hard part, the big ask, is getting them to stick around and have racing become like an indispensable part of their life. What would you like? What I'm sure you guys are into the metrics of this. Like, what are some kind of measurables that you think we need to see over the next however many years to feel like we're making inroads with those people?
Well, I think what we first have to do is, the Heart of Horse Racing will start with the website, bring new fans in, but we have to be better about telling people where we're racing, what times we're racing, so that it's easier for them to follow us and to become part of it. There are KPIs that we have. It's just it's first reaching those people and creating that they want to be part of this, and I think that that's our first goal, is that we should do that. And with our storytelling, it's emotional, and it's very authentic, and I just think that that's what a lot of the consumers want the brands to connect with, is on that emotional level. So that's where we have to start. And then I think we're going to see it bring, as the handle goes up, is, not everybody can get away for a weekend and go to Saratoga or go to Keeneland or wherever. But we have to get them following it. Everybody has a phone that they can bet on. And so we have to just educate them, bring them into the fold. And then, we both are from partnerships, right? We have to show that it's easy to become a partner, even on a small level. And that builds the lifelong fans and support that we need in this industry.
Yeah, that's so smart. And that's one of the things that's like really gratifying about working at West Point, is like bringing new people into the fold, to hopefully become lifelong fans and participants. How can people help? Like, whether they can donate money or their time, like what are you looking for right now specifically from this industry to keep moving this forward?
So right now we are looking for funding. That's the next step to continue to go on. We are a 501c3. On the website, theheartofhorseracing.com, there's a donate button on there. It makes it very easy to donate. But yes, we'll need the funding to go forward and to build this initiative. It's to elevate the sport, to bring it back to what it was. I mean, it's the oldest sport in America, and we're losing it, and we're losing a lot of this market to other sports because they have marketing plans in place, and they do it better than we do. So we need a centralized marketing plan to tell the rest of the country and the world what horse racing is, what it means to not only the people, but the fans and the horses, and show them how we take care of these wonderful animals. And that's what we need right now. We need the funding, we need the awareness, and we need people to go tell other people about it.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's an interesting point. Like, I felt like the NTRA was kind of supposed to be that marketing arm at first, and then they kind of transitioned to do more lobbying, where we really have not had a centralized marketing voice in this business for a long time. What are, just to follow up on what you mentioned before about some of the outside advisors that you've brought in, what were some of like their early findings when they took a deep dive into racing and the way we're doing things? Like, what are some of the lessons that they brought back to you guys?
So what they found is that the narrative by the media, the mainstream media, of course there was bad articles, but that was a very small number compared to what the overall media is about horse racing. And when they interviewed people, that wasn't the top subject. The top subject was, how do we get closer to this sport, and how can we be part of it? So that they felt is not as inclusive. The sport isn't as inclusive as what it could be. But the bad media that's what I thought we were going to find. And that was not the case.
Interesting. Okay. And then this is always a question that I have for people who are tasked with marketing the sport. It's a tough kind of balancing act, because you want to market to new people. You want to like make it, like you say, lower the barrier to entry, make it more inclusive. But then you also sometimes, and I see this, people complain about the NBC broadcast sometimes dumbing it down too much and not focusing enough on your core customer that currently exists. I'm just curious, your personal thoughts, Tina, about that balance. Like, how do you do both? How do you lower the barrier to entry, but then also speak to your core customer base?
I think that there are certain people that can do that. And I think that Richard McGillary is a great one that does that because, he's a former jockey and he relates. So some of those stories that he tells, even people that are in the industry learn things from it. So I think there's a way to do it. Horse racing has its own language, really. I mean, that's a whole nother barrier that we need to do. But maybe this, the heart of horse racing can be that center point to, for novice people to go and learn different things about it. We're an evolving initiative and movement right now. And I see all sorts of good things that can come from this.
Yeah. Well, it seems like just from reading a lot of the quotes on the website, you've gotten a lot of buy-in from a lot of major people in the industry, Todd Pletcher, I'm looking at Jenna Antonucci, the jockeys, like this, it's got to be an easy sell from that point, because everyone is so passionate about the business. Have you gotten that kind of really positive feedback and support from the horseman community in particular?
I have. It's funny. We have some sponsors that have already committed. Face like Tipton, the Green Group, CHA, NITHA, NYTBs. There's a lot of groups. The jockeys individually sent mailed checks for this initiative. So they feel that it's very important work that needs to continue and go on. All of us that are in the industry will benefit from this initiative. If this gets off the ground and we reach the number of people, the industry is going to grow from fans, from handle, from new partners, from everything. The horse population, we've heard about, that the farms in Kentucky are concerned with where, the number of mares that are being bred. Well, if that's the case, then that means the full crop will continue to decline. So all of us, we work together and build this initiative, all of us could benefit from it. And if we do nothing, I'm afraid if we do nothing. Well, thank you for having me. And anybody that's got any questions, please feel free to reach out. And I'm sure you'll hear more about this initiative in the future. Thank you.
That's going to do it for episode 15 of Breakaway Rail Talk. Thank you so much to Tina Bond for stopping by. Go check out theheartofhorseracing.com. Figure out how you can help because we're all in this together and we all need to be proactive about marketing the sport and making it, shining it in a positive light, especially in the wake of some of the negative headlines that we've seen recently. So shout out to Tina and everything she and the Heart of Horse Racing are doing. Thank you for joining us. And thank you, as always, to Arian Pedigrees for their support for Breakaway Rail Talk. Check them out at arian.co.nz. We'll see you next time back here on Breakaway Rail Talk.